This is Frank Sepe for Muscle and Fitness, Frank Sepe podcast. I'm here with Mike Ruiz, famous photographer, director, shot me for the cover of my book. Go on his Instagram, Mike Ruiz, and Mike Ruiz one, is it?
Mike Ruiz one all spelled
Yeah.
out.
You'll see the who's who of celebrities on that page, the most famous people in the world. We are happy to have him today. And we're going to talk about the charity calendar to save dogs' lives. So thank you, Mike. And let me thank
Oh,
you for having me be a part of the calendar. I am very, very happy that I was a part of this and doing my fair share to help.
well, I've been hounding you for years, no pun intended, to do the calendar. But you're always so busy, so I'm glad that you were able to do it this year. So thank you.
I was astray.
Yes, you went astray.
So, Mike, talk about the calendar. The calendar is called Hunks and Hounds, and you've been doing it now for over 10 years, correct? How did it come to
Well,
be?
this year's the 10th year anniversary. The first year we did it was called Hunks and Hounds, and I try to change the name every year just to maintain like PR interest. Because if it's people are
Same.
like, oh, that calendar again. So I change the name every year. So, but since it's like the 10th anniversary, I wanted to revisit the original name to celebrate the first one that we did, and we did it. Well, I'll tell you what inspired me. I adopted a pit bull. His name is Oliver. This is him. I have him tattooed on my arm. Can you see him?
Yeah,
He's
very nice.
he was the love of my life. So any dog people or pit bull people out there know that once you bond with a dog or a pit bull type dog, um, it really is life changing. And he literally was a catalyst for me to pivot in my life in so many ways. Like I just literally started devoting about 30-40% of my time to animal advocacy and animal welfare as a result of him, because I adopted him. It was, he was, a friend of mine was fostering him, and I was staying with my friend in LA, and this dog came running up to me and like put his head on my lap and with his big brown eyes, and it was like I fell in love with him instantly. And I adopted him and I brought him back to New York, and started doing like a deep dive into like how to care for pit bull type dogs and how to care for big dogs in the city, and like whatever, because I'm very hands on. I wanted to do it right. And then I started finding like all this horrible stuff about like how all these dogs are discarded and abused and neglected and misrepresented in the media, and it was horrible. Like it was heartbreaking. So I thought, I got to do something about this, because this can't continue. Or at least I have to feel like I'm doing something about it. I can't turn a blind eye. So I started advocating for them, and I'd go into shelters and photograph dogs, and in hopes of getting them adopted. Dogs on death row, and that was pretty successful. And then I thought, well, let me how can I reach the broadest amount of people in one fell swoop? So I approached well, actually I was corresponding with a rescue, Louie's Legacy, and we decided to do a calendar. I'm like, okay, well, we can't do a calendar of just dogs, because nobody's
Yeah.
how what's going to spark people's interest. So like what sparks my interest, like just sex sells. So I thought I'd get a bunch of hot hunky guys with their shirts off holding cute little puppies. And sure enough, that first year we went crazy viral. I mean, we raised almost $100,000
Wow.
just from calendar sales, which was pretty remarkable for this venture that nobody knew about. And like we didn't have like a marketing budget or anything. It was literally, it went viral on the internet, and we got picked up by Entertainment Tonight and and Extra and Access Hollywood, and before you know it, it became like this thing. So I just thought, well, that was easy.
Yeah.
I shot this calendar and it's like a huge raging success. So why don't I just keep on doing it? And that's how it was born. I do it every year now, just to raise money and raise awareness, mostly about the benefit, the difference between buying a dog from a breeder. For every dog that's brought into a world from a breeder, a dog dies in a shelter. That's just a fact. So people don't know that. I didn't know that. I had to find that out, through research, and there's so many amazing, incredible dogs in shelters that are loving and sweet and gentle, and people have this idea of like shelter dogs being damaged, but it's not true, because I mean the dogs that are in shelters are dogs that were discarded by people who bought them from breeders, a good chunk of them. So it's it's just a really sad situation. And this past year, the intake in shelters has almost doubled from the year before. So it's becoming a real epidemic in this country, and a real problem. And until there's legislation to help resolve, the backyard breeding, and just there's no policing of any of this stuff. People just keep cranking dogs into the marketplace, and until they stop commoditizing these sentient beings, it's just going to continue. So I'm trying to do my part, and this calendar is my effort to do that.
How many years did you have Oliver?
I had him for 7 years, and then he got lymphoma, and he passed away in 2018. And that was, devastating to me. But it it opened a part of my heart that could never close again. And I immediately adopted another dog in need,
Mm-hmm.
Julia. She was really badly abused. They found her skin and bones tied to a pole, left for dead. But now she's living large, so she's
People,
living very large.
it's funny because I had my dog Nico for almost 13 years, and it's hard to describe the bond that you develop and that you have with uh, with your dog. And it's not every dog, too. Some dogs, old dogs are special, but some dogs are just more in tune with you. Like I could raise my voice, or he's just so in tune, follow me everywhere, and it's just incredible. So what really upsets me is about how people discard animals like they're nothing. Like in these kill shelters and stuff. I have a rescue, Mabel, who was abused and she was going to be killed, and we got her from a little pink shelter in Connecticut, and she's so grateful. I got her at 6 months, and she's so grateful. Like you give her a bone, she'll lick you. You have to stop her to stop licking. She's just a great dog. So it really upsets me. So when you asked me to be a part of this, I jumped right in because I have 3 dogs, and I know the special bond that people have with their animals, and honestly, it's greater than with people. It's hard to say.
Well, I mean,
You know?
hopefully the calendar resonates with dog people, right? So
Yes.
I'm sure there's going to be some people watching this saying, "Well, what? They like dogs more than people?" But the sad
Get off the
reality,
couch. When is he on the couch? Get him off the couch.
oh God.
Put him in the crate.
Well, if anyone, like, somebody came over here once, somebody who came out of town and was going to stay with me, and they're like, "Can you put your dog away?" I'm like, "Get the fuck out of my house."
Yeah.
And
Okay.
like you're gonna have to go, like, I literally made him go stay in a hotel. I'm like, this is not your house. It's
Yeah.
not even my house. It's my dog's house. So you're gonna abide by the dog's rules. But until you've had that profound bond with a dog,
Yeah.
or any animal, really. I mean, some other species are really in tune with humans. Like pigs actually are very intelligent,
Dolphins.
and they're very emotional the way that dogs are. So I mean, until you've had that kind of connection, it's impossible to understand. But fortunately, there's enough of us out there who've had that connection, who know um, that it's important to do this kind of stuff, raise awareness this way.
You can spot a phony too when they come over. They're like, oh, really nice. And they
Oh
pretend.
yeah,
So
yeah,
with the dogs too, how many you have? None.
that,
Oh.
yeah. That's how I size people up. I'm like, they,
Wow.
they leave you dead to me. I'm goodbye.
So you pretty much have access to any models that you'd like. How do you go about picking people for the calendar?
Well, a big part of it is like I genuinely need to have a percentage of the guys, like at least 50%, who have the same passion for animal welfare that I do, like
Yeah.
who understand why it is I do this. And then the other guys, just because this thing's become like I mean, I kind of equate it to, like, the male version of like a Victoria's Secret catalog, because it's become like such a, like a, you know um uh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Event.
Like such a like a cultural kind of, I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, it's become like a really big deal, and therefore guys are always reaching out to me. Like I already have three guys lined up for the 2025 calendar because people are already starting to reach out for that. They're like, oh, I wanted to be in your calendar because they saw behind the scenes from our shoot.
Yeah.
Um, so that's it. Kind of happens now. It happens organically. Like I literally have to I can only use a finite amount of guys every year, and so I have to turn a lot of guys down. But I usually roll them over into the next year. I try to work with all the guys who show an interest, just
Mhm.
because I appreciate it. It's a charity um, effort, so it's not like a money job, so nobody's making any money off of it except for the rescue. 100% of the proceeds go to the rescue. And guys fly themselves in, and guys have flown themselves in from Europe and South America and stuff over the years for this shoot. So I mean, I'm really grateful that they do that, and that it's developed like that kind of reputation that they would want to do that.
A lot of people ask me, how do you pick the dogs? You know, because
Yeah.
how do I get my dog in on this? So how do you go about finding
Well, usually the dogs are usually from the rescue that we're benefiting. So it's either alumni of the rescue or dogs that are in foster care, or but they're usually the from the rescue. But occasionally people will want to bring their dog, and and I I've let I'll do it occasionally. If they're rescues, and like if it's like some cock-a-poodle that they spent $9,000 on from a breeder. I'm like, no, I'm not showcasing that dog in a calendar about animal rescue. I'm sorry. So, but yeah, that's usually how we usually find the dogs and the models, and
and
it's just
how do you set up these shoots? Like, do you different concepts or different ideas, or do you keep everything kind of the same
I keep it relatively the same, just because
brand?
well, for branding purposes, and also for it's holding a dog for a photo is a difficult thing. Like I've developed this technique that that I explain to all of the guys. It's not, you can't hold them like with two arms and a baby, because you need to
Yeah.
see the bare chested models, and you need to see the cute
Blackness.
dog, and the dog can't look like can't look awkward, because sometimes their legs are or they're nervous or whatever. So I just need everyone to look good and relaxed, and so I kind of stick with the formula that's worked so
Mhm.
far. I mean, I may change it, next year for the 11th year, but probably not. I'm probably gonna keep the same general format.
Before you show the cover, how are people able to? Obviously, it's going to be all over social media, all the models, everyone's going to share it. All of our friends are going to share it, get it out there. We're going to put it in a link so that people share all the videos, the back, behind the scenes, this interview, the cover, everything, so that we get as many eyes on it as possible. And so, talk about how you could get the calendar and the link and such.
Well, they're only available through the rescues
Mhm.
website, which is louislegacy.org/calendar.
Okay.
And the link will be somewhere,
It'll be in the caption. Yeah.
yeah. Or and I'm asking all of the guys to put a link in their bio, for about a
Yeah.
month, just to facilitate people, just linking easily to the sales page for the calendar. But yeah, it's only available through that one link. So everyone should go to louislegacy.org/calendar.
Amazing Christmas gift, right? Around.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. People buy 10, 12, 15 of them, and
Yeah.
they're stocking stuffers, or they give them to the staff at work, or they do make really great gifts, and gifts with a cause, gifts with hearts. They're saving the lives of dogs in need. So
People have no idea how much work goes into this. Obviously you're doing this for animals, but it should be commended. This is a big uptaking. Anybody that's worked in media before knows just getting a photo shoot together never forget about a calendar is always a task, especially, when you have so many moving parts to it. So, uh, I mean,
It's a lot. It's a lot to it's fortunately I have a background in photo production. so
yeah,
it's I've fine-tuned the art of doing it, but it's difficult. We need to get, usually 15 or 16 guys, from all over the country, to descend onto one location, and then we have to get the dogs, and the dogs are all in different foster care, so we have to get 15 or 16 dogs,
yeah.
and so they have to be brought by like their current guardian, or their foster, or so there's like, and then we have to time it so that all the dogs are not there at the same time, and so it's a finely oiled machine at this point, but it is a big undertaking.
And all the money goes directly to the animals, correct?
100% goes to Louie's legacy. Like, not one penny goes to anything else. Like, it all goes 100% goes to Louie's legacy. Like, I pay for the studio, I pay for all the post production and that out of my pocket, and then all of the money goes to the rescue. So nobody's making any money off of this except the dogs who need it.
So when you do buy the calendar, it goes right to the pups. Not even a protein bar was bought at this photo shoot. Everything goes to the pups. So you want to show us the amazing cover?
Yeah, here it is. Click. So we're gonna insert cover here.
Insert cover, and we'll put it on. Yeah, the cover will be on here. All the information where to buy it will be in the caption as well. We'll be sharing it. We're asking everyone, followers, as many followers you have 1 million followers, 100 followers, please just share it, because it only takes one or two people to donate, and it's a great cause. And there's so many, animals out there that need to be rescued. And Louie's Legacy, they were great too at the photo shoot. They're really nice people, and really amazing that this calendar is helping so many animals. I wish
Yeah,
we could do more.
it is. It is a grassroots effort. It's not like we don't have a big PR team behind it or marketing team. So we really depend on people sharing it. And it's been successful from that standpoint in the past. But I always urge people to just share the link, and you're literally saving a life. And if anybody would walk through a shelter with me, and I'm going to try not to cry right now, but if anyone were all walk through a shelter with me, I assure you would share this post like 5,000 times, because it's freaking heartbreaking, like what these animals go through, because humans keep failing them over and over and over again.
Yeah, I'm going to be calling on my fitness friends to share this. Mr. O'Hearn, Sadiq, all you guys, Phil Heath, everyone, I want you to share this. This is extremely important. And I don't know, Mike, this is great. Again, I want to thank you for letting me be a part of it. And
It's an honor. A great
yeah.
Sepe. My little calendar.
I got a lot of DMs.
Yeah, you're Mr. January, so you're the first out of the gate.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, my
Yeah.
January. All right, cool. I thought you'd give me a Pomeranian, but I got a giant like my dog.
You're a big guy. Some of those guys couldn't handle that big. That was when he was like 70 pounds or 60
That
pounds.
what it was? Yeah, it was like this. No, some of the dogs were adopted already, right, from the calendar, from what I
Yeah,
understand. That's
yeah.
great.
Well, yeah. Some of them were adopted already on the day of the shoot, but some have been adopted since the shoot. So that's the function of a rescue. They pull them from kill shelters so they don't get euthanized, and
Yeah,
then well, here, this is good. This is valuable information. This is what people don't understand. So when you buy a dog from like a backyard breeder or whatever, they
mhm.
don't care about their health. They're not screening them for behavior. They want to make their $3,000, and that's all they care about. They'll give you a dog with heart murmurs and like all kinds of like health issues, as long as they get their money. Whereas the function of a rescue is they pull dogs from shelters, kill shelters, and what they do is they do like full health screening. They get their shots, they get them fixed, they do behavioral assessments, and if there's behavioral issues, they work with a trainer. So in essence, you're getting an amazing dog that's been like screened and health and like their
Yeah,
health is immaculate and you're getting like I mean all dogs are amazing, but you're getting a dog that has that's been screened like for behavior and health issues. So that's really important to consider and to understand that getting a dog from a rescue is actually a far better experience than
it's so
than people
it's
think.
so sad because I remember you remember 19th Street Gym back in
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was a homeless person he was selling it's like a half pit bull something mix and he was selling the dog on the street. I bought him.
Oh, you
Took
did?
$300. I bought him. I brought him to the vet. He had ticks, everything in his ears, everything. Cleaned him up. Um, Medicine, everything. I think he had parvo too. Brought him back, and the girl who worked the front desk, her and her boyfriend took the dog and gave him a great home and had him for years until he passed. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, so it's just like wow, that's crazy how
That's what
everybody.
you do. That's what
Yeah.
you do. That's what You're technically a rescue, Frank.
Yeah, but it was just honestly, I wish there was stronger laws and things and that will prohibit that because it's so sad because where to get the dog, where you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
like it.
literally, there in LA, there's a huge problem right now on Skid Row. There's all the homeless people are literally breeding dogs on the street in 100-degree heat in little crates. The dogs are dying in crates because they have no protection from the sun and they're not being fed. And they're being bred so the homeless people can make money. And it's just so like it's a really unfortunate situation for the homeless people, and it's a horrible situation for these dogs. And there's no like there are people who are literally calling the animal services in LA every minute on the every hour on the hour, and they're not doing anything about it because there's no legislation to protect the dogs. They're like, well, technically the homeless guy owns the dog, so he can do whatever he wants with it, which is absurd. Like there's nothing governing them breeding it. They literally are giving breeding license to homeless people on the street, which
Horrible.
I mean, it's unfortunate they're homeless, but they can't make a rash. They're desperate. They'll do anything for money. At this point. So
Yeah.
like they don't care about the welfare of these dogs. Somebody needs to care about the welfare of these dogs. And the welfare of the people who are living in Skid Row, as well. But it's like a whole trickle down effect. So yeah, there's like so many legislative problems in this country. Um,
Good thing with
there's
animal
so many
abuse.
corrupt shelters. Like there's people who run shelters, like directors of shelters, making $400,000 a year, and the dogs are like
Yeah.
living in their poop and their blood, and they're dying while these motherfuckers are. Anyway, I better not get started.
Line their pockets. I know, and it's the same thing with animal abuse. Where's the legislation for that? People are kicking, hitting their dogs, pushing, like really abusing animals, leaving them unfed and tied to a pole for until they die because they're not feeding them or eating. Like forgot about them. Like leave them in cars with the windows open, with the windows shut in the summer. I was like, it's horrible. I actually saw it in Manhattan. There was a dog in the car. They left, and somebody took and broke the window open.
Oh, I've done that before. I don't even care. Like throw me in jail, I don't care. I'm like I threw like but it was in
Yeah.
California. Unfortunately, like the law protects me for
Mhm.
that one thing. You can if a dog's dying in a car, you can break the window, but
Horrible.
which I did quite happy.
Did you have to pay for the window?
No, no, it was a dumbass who left his dog in the car. Like he has to deal with the fallout from that. That's his problem.
It was horrible. Wow.
Yeah. So, hopefully between all of us and all of us like dog, animal loving, animal welfare concerned citizens, um, legislation will be introduced and stuff. I mean, there are people who work aggressively. There are organizations actually like the equivalent of the ACLU for animal welfare. Like there's legal organizations who lobby on the behalf of animals and who try to introduce legislation to protect them. So, I mean, but it's a slow, horrible process, and there's not enough people doing it.
It's sad. Well, at least you did your part here, and everyone, every if everyone does something, it'll help immensely. So I mean, can say I care, but what are you doing to help the cause? That's what you have to ask yourself.
Yeah. People, you know what it is people think they don't have the ability. They're like, oh, well, Mike Ruiz is a big photographer. He can, like, so he can do it, but there's nothing really I can do. I'm just like a private citizen. But that's a crock of crap, and it's a lazy outlook. And all, like, if everyone just shared one dog that they see on Facebook or social media, like a dog, like there's always people posting like for
Yeah.
shelters. Just share one dog a week. If everyone just shared one dog a week, that would probably put a 10% dent in the problem in this country.
Since I did the calendar, I have people sending me posts, and I always repost them. And two of them they were ready to be euthanized. They were adopted, Huskies, I believe they were.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, pit bulls are dogs are the most discarded in this
mhm.
country by a vast majority. But then the second most discarded are huskies. So hopefully Michael Hearn will have a soft spot in his heart, and post his calendar because I know he loves his huskies. And
I'm sure he will. We have
yeah, he was actually on the cover a few years ago. So yeah, he's a good guy. He's a dog lover.
we break each other's chops in stories routinely, so we'll get him to do something.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure he will. He's a
Yeah.
good.
All right. Well, we want to, obviously thank you again. And the calendar is Hunks and Hounds. It's the 10th year. We're going to caption
Mhm.
link, get some Christmas gifts, buy the calendar. You're supporting Louie's legacy. You're saving dogs, and it's just great. And please share everything that you see here and on our social pages. Make everything makes a difference.
Yeah, every single thing makes a difference. Like, don't think that you're powerless. Everyone can do one thing.
Yes, I agree. All right, Mike.
Thank you so much for having me, Frank, and thanks again for doing the calendar. And I
Thank
appreciate
you.
helping me get the word out.
I will definitely. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Take it easy.
All right. Bye.